Oh my goodness. It's everything.
Welcome to Experience Points, presented by our friends at Avtex who transform customer experience through CX design and orchestration. On Experience Points, contestants earn points by answering customer experience questions and share their insights on how to make your interactions remarkable. Those points turn into dollars for the charity of their choosing. I'm Joey Coleman.
And I'm Dan Gingiss, and we'd love to introduce you to today's contestant.
Marquesa Pettway is a business reinvention expert, technology strategist. She's a professional speaker and business coach and a former producer at CNN. She has also been my coach, a friend, and mentor. Marquesa, welcome to Experience Points.
I'm excited to be here. I love you guys. This is fun.
Oh, you are so kind. You're so kind, Marquesa. Thanks so much for joining us. You know, I'm fascinated by the fact that you have this background in television and as a producer for CNN. Could you share with us something that you learned producing a TV show that you think would be useful for people who are trying to produce great customer experiences?
Wow. Okay. I remember because I worked on Lou Dobbs' business show. It was called Managing with Lou Dobbs, and it was for entrepreneurs. Isn't that funny how it comes full circle? And you know the ball that's dropped in Times Square every New Year's Eve? It was on the company that does that, drops the ball, right? And you know, guys, it's very fancy. It's a whole lot of work that goes into that ball. And I remember when we shot that story and all the pieces of it, and I remember the owners saying, we really want to give people the most unique experience when they go into a new year. And so when we design the ball, because you know the ball is different, it has a different theme every year. We want the ball to have something that reflects the upcoming decade, and something that's going to get them excited. And it's that visual. And that's why it's televised everywhere. And for us to be a part of that is a very big deal. So when I listened to it, I was like, that's cool. But yeah, so I remember that story. And even as a young, eager person that was so anxious to get in front of the camera, which I never did on that journey, I did take away that lesson. So I'll never look at the ball the same way again.
That is great. So, Marquesa, you're going to be playing for a very special organization today. Tell us a little bit about it and why you chose it.
Yes, Black NSA. I have to tell you, I've been a member of Black NSA for almost a decade. And actually, that's not true. It's more like 15 years. I just got my 15-year membership pin. And I first became a part of it because sometimes when you're a person of color and you come into an organization where you're the minority, you can feel like, okay, where do I start? Who do I talk to, or how do I? And then when you're anxious and and it's a professional organization, which means you want to move the needle on your profession, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I want to move the needle on my profession, but I really don't know where to start, even though everybody is nice. And sometimes the niceness and the how are you and how can we help you, that can overwhelm you. And what I loved about Black NSA all those years ago is I knew I had an instant home. And I knew I had a place where, okay, if I don't know anybody else and as nice as everyone is being to me, let me go to Black NSA because I know that they understand how I feel. And I know that they look like me because everyone needs to be around someone that looks like them. And I remember when I first went there, guess who was there? Les Brown. Everybody knows who Les Brown is, the famous Les Brown. He's a friend now, a mentor, all those beautiful things. And to go and talk to him, and he talked to me, not just as a fan, but as a person that looked like him, that just continued on through the years. So that was really my first chance to say, I like this and I want to be a part of it. And I got the chance years later to take it to the next level.
I love it. I love it. Well, fantastic organization indeed. I can totally see why you're playing for them today, Marquesa. Now that we know who you're playing for, let's get into the game.
All right.
We're going to be playing Think Fast.
In Think Fast, you will have 1 minute to answer 5 experience questions. For each question, you must quickly choose between 2 possible answers. Correct answers given before time runs out are worth 100 points. 5 correct answers will earn you 500 bonus points for a possible score of 1,000 points.
Marquesa, are you ready to get started?
Yes! Yes! Let me put on my glasses. Oh, they're there. Okay. Here we go.
Marquesa, all of the questions today are coming from a study from our friends at Visible Thread that look at language and readability. And the name of the study is 90% of credit card terms and conditions are inaccessible to those without a college education. So we're going to be talking about the confusing nature of credit card terms and conditions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Joey, give us 60 seconds on the clock. Marquesa, what percentage of credit card terms and conditions require at least some college education to be understood? Is it 90% or 60%?
60%.
The average American reads at what grade level? Is it 10th grade or 8th grade?
8th grade.
For easy understanding, passive voice should be used less than 4% of the time. The average credit card company used it 10% or 22% of the time?
22%.
Okay, the next question. Which bank scored higher on the readability index? American Express or USAA?
I think American Express.
Long sentences should be used no more than 5% of the time. At how many words is a sentence considered long? Is it 15 or 25?
15.
All right.
Woo! We just got in under the wire there. Great job, Marquesa. That was fast. Let's see how you did.
Was what percentage of credit card terms and conditions require at least some college education to be understood? You said 60%?
Yes.
The answer, unfortunately, was 90%.
I know. For some reason, I thought about it when you just said it. Yeah, I think it was 90. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Marquesa, but unbelievably, 90% require a college education. All right, we asked you the average American reads at what grade level. You said 8th grade, and the answer is 8th grade. All right.
We're on the board.
Yeah. All right. Then we asked for easy understanding, passive voice should be used less than 4% of the time. The average credit card company used it, and you said 22% of the time. The answer is 22% of the time.
Yes, they confused us.
There you go.
I'm confused all the time.
All right. Now we then asked you which bank scored higher on the readability index. You went with the New York favorite, American Express. And unfortunately, it was USAA.
Some told me USAA.
And that's actually, you know what's funny is USAA is based in Texas, so you were really torn between your Texas roots and your New York roots.
I know, right? And I should have said USAA because then, you know what? I should have said that. I didn't recognize it, so it must be the right answer.
That's okay. All right. Long sentences should be used no more than 5% of the time. At how many words is a sentence considered long? You said 15. And the answer is 25. But can you imagine a 25-word sentence is a really long sentence? What was amazing about this study is how many banks are guilty of long sentences at 25 words or more. And the answer is most of them. And so I think one of the real keys on these questions and why we wanted to focus on it, and especially as the fact that all three of us are speakers, we're all into communication, right? That's what we do for a living. But for companies, communication is such a big part of the experience. And if you don't do it well and you confuse your customers or you speak above their reading level, it's really going to be hard to connect with them and make them feel good about their purchase. So Marquesa, where have you found that communication, either in your business or in your client's business, becomes a really big part of the experience?
Oh my goodness. It's everything. And I say that with such disdain because, and it's a good and a bad thing, because it can make or break a relationship. It can turn a prospect into a client or not. So that is huge. It's huge. It's ironic that, well, kind of, communications was my major in college. I was a communications major, broadcast journalism. And so you think, I mean, I don't know. You would think that I know a lot about communications, and I do in a certain degree, but one of the biggest lessons I've had to learn as as an entrepreneur, I call it speakerpreneur for the last 15 years, has been how you communicate. It's in the writing. It's when you're teaching, when I'm speaking to my clients every week in our groups sessions, when I send out something. And so I'm learning, even in my newsletter, on my podcast, it's everything. So it's everything, honestly. And it's nonverbal. And you got to break it down between verbal and nonverbal and written. But communication, it's really the lifeline, I think.
Marquesa, I couldn't agree with you more. It's interesting. I'm actually a recovering attorney. So the first step is admitting you have a problem, and then there's 11 steps after that. But when I was in law school, they would teach us how to write these types of legal disclaimers and these types of contracts. And on one hand, I understand from a legal point of view what they were trying to do. But I will tell you, as a consumer, I regularly get contracts and agreements and things that I'm asked to sign that I read through them. With having had a degree from a top 20 law school in the country, having practiced law for more than 5 years before I became a speaker, I look at this and I'm like, folks, if I'm confused, what is the person who's reading at the 8th grade level, who hasn't gone to law school, who hasn't, spent a lot of time analyzing the written word and the spoken word, how are they supposed to navigate this? So I think you make an excellent point that communication is everything. And it's not just in your rules and your contracts. It's the emails you're sending. It's the conversation that your contact center is having with someone, the phone call messages, the words you're typing in the email. Out of curiosity, Marquesa, what do you think is a way that we can fix this problem? I think we all agree that communication isn't where it needs to be from most organizations. I know you work a lot with business owners. Any tips or suggestions about how they can refine and hone their communications internally with their team?
What's worked for me, and when I skip this step, I pay for it. You need to have someone else read it. You need to have someone else read it. It's so funny. One of my newest offerings, my Zoom think tank, and I'm so excited about it. I've probably done at least, 7 or 8 revisions, and you think it's perfect and it's not quite there. And then I had a team member read it recently, and they completely changed it, and it is amazing. I'm proud of it. And of course, it's going to continue to be tweaked. But he had an entirely different perspective than the other team member. And you know what? It doesn't hurt to have maybe, I don't know, Dan, is there such thing, is to have maybe, I don't know if you would call them priority customers or demo customers, but people that are your actual customers, and have them maybe read it and let you know, well, what do you really think about that? So I'm learning that. And sometimes when I'm in a rush, I'm under deadline, I got to speak somewhere and I need that to be done, I don't go through those channels, and I pay for it in one way or the other. So what I find is the more input I get, the better results I get. Because sometimes the way that I intend it is not the way it's received. And that is the number one responsibility when it comes to communications.
Marquesa, you make an outstanding point. And as a marketer who led marketing teams at multiple companies, I was often asked by, say, a creative team, what do you think of this copy? And my answer always disappointed them, because I said, it doesn't matter what I think. It matters how a customer is going to respond to it. So why don't we go ask some customers and let's see what they think of the copy? Is it going to excite them? Is it going to get them to buy from us, or whatever it is that we wanted them to do? And so often we make decisions in conference rooms when we could be just out in front of customers, and they will tell you how they want to be communicated with. All right, Joey, let's recap how Marquesa scored playing Think Fast.
Well, Dan, in this game, correct answers are worth 100 points. And Marquesa answered 2 questions correctly, which means she earned 200 points. Those points convert to dollars, which means Marquesa earned a $200 donation to Black NSA. Congratulations, Marquesa.
Nice job. Marquesa, it has been a pleasure having you here today. That concludes this episode of Experience Points. Check out more games with Marquesa and our other celebrity contestants at experiencepointsgame.com. That URL again is experiencepointsgame.com. We'll see you soon for more examples of remarkable customer experiences here at Experience Points, presented by Avtex.
So this is fascinating and it's something that we all deal with, even if we just scroll to the bottom and skip it. But T's and C's are something that we don't necessarily immediately say, yeah, that's an experience, but it is part of our interaction with a brand. And so I think that it's an interesting case study for how to understand and dissect some of these interactions with a brand.
Well, and I think it's a reflection, that, number one, the world is ruled by lawyers, but and I understand that lawyers exist for a really good reason, to protect the organization, protect us, but, they can, if they want, to write this in human language so people can understand. And I thought it was interesting, they use the example of USAA. USAA is extremely well known for being accommodating to their members. And so I think as a part of the USAA experience, they've done some good work around making sure that, these documents that are needed are written in a way that people can come a little bit closer to understanding.